Welcome to the show for this week's ANZ Championship review. That was good news for the Southern Steel until the final quarter against the Mystics, who pulled the rug from underneath them. Elsewhere, the Fever got back into the winner's circle after the last round draw, this time at the expense of the Thunderbirds. The polls showed what damage they can wreak when the ball goes into the hoop, merciless against the Magic. And the Firebirds reminded the Swifts that their semi-final berth is well and truly under threat.
Well, as you saw in those results, the Steel fell to the Mystics after leading for most of the way, with some of the answers as to why that may be. Jane Watson, Steel defender, joins me in the studio. Good evening, Jane. Nice to have you here for the first time.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your own game first of all. You got a start. Things were going well by the time you left.
Yeah, they were going really well. I think our connections and our hunger for the ball were right up there, yeah.
What changed, do you think, in the second half? I know you were off at that stage. Do you think they put the accelerator down or we started to make a few more mistakes?
Well, I don't think it was the whole second half. I think it was predominantly the last 5 minutes. Yeah, unfortunately, in a couple of our games, we haven't been able to nail the whole 60 minutes. So I think that's what we need to work on.
Do you think that's psychological or physical? What's your gut feeling on that one?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably a bit of both. I mean, we seem to be backing off and not attacking as much in the last 5 minutes, whether we were fatigued or we just needed to keep focusing mentally. Can't put a pin on it, really. Because
the more often that happens, of course, you start to forget how to win, don't you?
Yeah, I know, and I mean that's what you need in these games, yeah.
Did you enjoy your outing, though, to get a start, because you've had to fight for that position?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a challenge to fight to get a start, but I'm pleased with the way I went, so yeah, hopefully get some more at some stage, yeah.
Because this is the first time we've had you on TV, let's just talk a little bit about your background. I know you started with soccer originally as a child, but when did you take up netball to play competitively?
Well, I was in senior A level netball in high school and throughout the whole high school, really. Mm-hmm. I did a little bit of reps in Otago while I was at high school in my last year. Right. But mainly in Christchurch, I started off with my netball scholarship at Lincoln. And I guess being seen there and playing in reps and sort of under 21 level,
right.
Yeah, it's sort of.
So you played that age group level in Canterbury for Canterbury.
Yes, yeah.
So was that how the connection was made with the Tactics? How did they first bring you into the squad?
Yeah, well, there is a train-on group that I was a part of, and I guess we got to train a little bit with the Tactics when they needed us, and so you get seen there, and you're doing the same kind of program, gym program, conditioning, and things like that. So yeah. So
how did your first break come about? How did you get in?
Oh right. Well, I was actually called in as a replacement player, so somebody was injured and so they needed a defender to replace them, and I was fortunate enough to get quite a bit of court time that year, yeah. And
the following year you became a regular starter?
Yeah, it was good, really good. So I was contracted the next year and the following year after that too, so it was great.
Tactics are a bit of an enigma. They look good pre-season. You have great pre-seasons, but just can't nail the games when it comes to the important matches.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's time together, maybe it's environment, who knows really. Yeah, I don't know if you can really say one thing. Yeah.
So what was the prompt to change and come down to the Steel, where you obviously weren't going to just walk in the team without some, proving yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, for myself, I just felt I needed a change in environment. I think being in Christchurch for quite a wee while, you can sort of get in one place and stop pushing yourself, I guess. And I guess me being in a new environment means I need to challenge myself and the others around me to make myself better. So yeah, just a fresh start really.
Did you know any of the other Steel girls from having played with them at any level, or apart from being opponents obviously?
Yeah, I knew of them and sort of would say hi to them, but not as much as I do now, that's for sure. Yeah.
So was it a welcoming environment? Did you feel part of the team as soon as you walked in the door?
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good to see the environment that they had and be a part of that, and they were very welcoming, yeah.
And what about your assessment of the season so far? You've had a win, you've had some very close losses. You're going to have to start putting some wins together in a row, aren't we?
Yes, we sure are. I mean, we definitely need to play for the full 60 minutes. We can't just have 55-minute games. The wins are what are going to take us further, so we do need to figure out, what's going to make us get those wins. Yeah.
Do you rush back to the TV and watch the other games? Because, of course, with the Pulse winning, that's really thrown the conference wide open for New Zealand.
Yeah, it has. I mean, we sort of generally tend to focus on who we've got coming up more than just watching it. We may watch it for, fun, but the games that we really focus on are our next opponents coming up, really. Yeah.
Only control the controllables, isn't that the expression, isn't it?
Yes.
So you've got, next up, Tactics.
Yes, at their home, so it'll be good challenge.
Well, and you've played them already, so you play in close quarter, don't you? So you would have learned a few things from that first game about the team.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think they've kept improving as well, so it will still be a challenge for us.
Are you a spy? I mean, when I say a spy, can you give inside information on your experience, or have they changed things a little bit up there?
Yeah, well, I think they are changing things with the new coach, but I mean, as much as I know, everyone else knows everything about the players too, because they watch them and analyse them, so yeah, it's just, I guess, what comes on the day changes things. Yeah.
It's an odd draw, isn't it, to play one team twice, and some teams you haven't played at all.
Yes, I know.
So, but I suppose you just have to play what's in front of you.
Yes, you do, and that's, I mean, we sort of focus on the couple of games in front, not too far ahead, and try and get just the next game up nailed and move on from there.
We've talked to a lot of outsiders about the conference system, the pluses and minuses. What about amongst the team? Is there much discussion?
Not about the actual conference itself. We just focus on the games we've got, and we need to win to get anywhere, so that's our main focus, yeah.
What about outside netball before you become a professional player or semi-professional, whatever level it may be, but what sort of, what's your scope beyond the game?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I never really watched netball before I played it. I like to play it, and so that would be me, really, yeah.
What about study? Do you fill in the time for the time when you have to give up the game?
Yes, so I've been to Lincoln University and I've studied a Bachelor of Recreational Management in Sport.
Right.
And after that I went to Teachers College, so I'm a graduated teacher now. So
you got choices.
That's my work.
You got great choices.
Yeah.
So what level of teaching?
Primary teaching.
Okay. Yeah. So do you think you'll focus on that? I mean, the sports degree, what was that, just to give you a grounding?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't really know what I wanted to be, so that was a great start. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what about other sporting pursuits? Do you have ways of relaxing when you're not playing netball?
Oh, I definitely like to just hang around family and friends. Yeah, definitely just relaxing. I like to travel a bit, so if I get a chance to go on holidays, I'd like to do that. Yeah.
So when you come into the squad like this, it's just for 3 months that you're based here and then you return home? Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, kind of 6 months, sort of from December till about June, yeah, and then go back up to Christchurch for the rest of the year.
Is it a full-time professional for you? Well, during that period, you've got to concentrate on only that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've done my study now. I could be doing part-time study, but I'd rather just focus on my netball and go back to my teaching in the second half of the year. Yeah.
So now it's a case of just trying to cement that regular spot, isn't it? That's convincing Janine to stick with you.
Yeah, well, see what happens in trainings. That's always where I guess the battle is, and yeah.
Do you feel you're on trial at a training because you are, fringe on the squad? You're always on trial?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you are. You're always battling with the other defenders, but you've always also got to work with them, and I guess playing well yourself enhances other people to play well as well. Yeah. I
suppose you get good practice because you're up against one of the biggest shooters. So in training, tell us, have you mastered the art of containing Janelle?
I don't know if I've mastered it, but it definitely does help training against someone who I hate to play against. So yeah, no, it's really good.
What's the intimidation factor? Is it her size? Because she's quite big on the court.
Yes.
Or is it the skills? How do you counteract that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely that height. Just being able to reach up above us with jumping as well. So that is quite hard. So I think we've got to really work together to get the ball. Yeah. Because
she's got good elevation too, isn't she?
Yes.
For her size, so she's adding to those. She's already half a dozen.
I know.
She's taller
yeah.
already. Yeah. So I suppose everyone else you play seems smaller by comparison.
Well, yeah. I mean, definitely everyone's still a challenge, but a little bit easier.
So how determined are you? How keen are you to play against the Tactics? Because obviously you've got a lot of friends still in that camp.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can come off with another really good, solid win. Yeah, it's good to see them always, but it's always nice to have a win in your own team.
Well, all the best with that over the Easter. Have a great Easter, and thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Cool, thanks so much.
To the conferences now, and the Fever stay on top in Oz, and though the Firebirds couldn't tip the Swifts out of the top 3 by beating them, they are well poised to do so with a game in hand. Only the Thunderbirds appear onlookers to the genuine contenders. In New Zealand, the Mystics are starting to look comfortable on top, and the Steel find themselves relegated below the cut line, though a win by any margin over the Tactics next week will see them swap places with the Pulse, who are on a bye. The Canterbury franchise, though, are desperate. Another loss and they're out of contention.